Previously, on the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast.
Well, Tom, you get to pick which book we read next time. Which Mr. Men book would you like to choose?
9.
So we're going to do the Ninth Doctor?
Yep.
All right.
And now, our story continues.
Welcome, everyone, to the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast. This is Matt in Minnesota, and who's on the other line?
Tom.
And May.
And where are you two?
Colorado.
Well, we're here to discuss the Ninth Doctor book, but first, how are you?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Good. I guess we're going to be talking about a story that was first recorded this day 20 years ago. I guess my question to you is, what were you two doing 20 years ago?
Nothing. We weren't born.
May, what about you?
Nothing.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm not 20 yet.
I was a freshman in college, so that was what I was doing 20 years ago today. So let's first do our show and tell. This is a section of the show where each of us shares something cool or new that we've been doing lately, especially if it's kind of geeky or having to do with Doctor Who or any other fun geeky kind of thing. I'll go first. I think one thing that I've enjoyed lately is I've been building a Star Wars Lego set. I still like doing Legos every once in a while. And I wonder if the Lego will ever do a tie-in with Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Hang on one sec. I've just been informed that there is a Doctor Who Lego crossover,
Hooray!
although I've never seen it or heard of it before.
Hey.
So, Tom, I will ask you to do a show and tell.
We got a cat.
Wow, that's exciting. What's the cat's name?
Figaro.
A.K.A. Figgy.
Very good. What's been one highlight with Figaro so far?
He's really fun to pet.
Very good. May, anything to add?
Not really.
All right, well, I hope you guys do some more fun things with the cats. Try to train him how to do food chase.
What's food chase?
So, let's see if he can go fetch and eat little pieces of food.
Oh.
All right, well, let's get to the book here.
Yeah.
This book series, of course, is by Adam Hargreaves, done in the style of his father, Roger Hargreaves, and we're going to be reading Dr. Ninth, which is, of course, about the Ninth Doctor.
Okay.
All right, we begin with our dramatic reading, courtesy of the Uncle Manny and his audiobooks channel on YouTube.
It was a lovely sunny day, and the Doctor decided to go shopping in town. The first shop he came to was a clothes shop. "Good morning," said the Doctor. "Hello, my name is Rose," said the woman who worked in the shop. "How can I help you?" "I was thinking about buying a hat," replied the Doctor. "I like the look of that one." He pointed to one of the shop mannequins. "Although, there is something rather familiar about it." "I'm not sure that one really suits you," said Rose. As she turned to show the Doctor some other hats, the mannequin suddenly moved its head, and then, without warning, it tried to grab Rose. Luckily, the Doctor grabbed her first, as all the other mannequins came to life. "We're going to escape!" exclaimed the Doctor, pulling Rose out to the street. "But what's going on?" cried Rose. "They've turned into Artons!" cried the Doctor, running into Mr. Socket's electrical shop next door as the mannequins chased them.
Thanks, Uncle Manny, and listeners, please be sure to check out his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yerp.
I'll do my best to ask each of you, like, Tom, what did you think about this? Or May, what did you think about that? And that'll kind of help us with the flow.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I called dibs on the first question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kids.
All right, we can get into the story now, okay?
Okay.
All right, so the story begins with the Ninth Doctor walking down the street, and he goes into a clothes shop. And Tom and May, who does he meet in the clothes shop?
Rose.
Rose.
Yeah, that's right. So they start looking at some clothes, and there's some clothes on a mannequin that look very familiar. Did either of you recognize what outfit was on that mannequin?
Dr. Forth?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, unless we're mistaken, that's the fourth Doctor's scarf.
You've got it, Tom. Very good. So yes, that's the fourth Doctor's outfit, which is why the Doctor says there's something rather familiar about it, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Now, the mannequins that are there suddenly start to move, and without warning, they try to grab Rose. But luckily, the Doctor grabs her first. And so who are the bad guys here, kids?
The
Autons.
Yeah, very good. I thought this was kind of funny because in the TV version of the story, of course, the Doctor and Rose meet in the basement of the clothes shop, but here they're in the upstairs part, and this is kind of a change in the story. Not since David Whittaker's adaptation of the very first Dalek story involving Ian and Barbara in a car crash have we seen such a dramatic change of events. And listeners, prepare yourself, because that's not the only change to televised Who that we'll encounter in this adventure.
Yeah.
All right, so they run away from the Autons and they go into an electrical shop. And what do they do to distract the Autons?
They turn on all the electrical gadgets and stuff and that jazz.
Yes, that's right. Now, of course, what does the Doctor use to do this?
The
His
sonic screwdriver.
Very good.
Toy.
Which he makes very clear in the story is not a toy, but also not a magic wand. It is a sonic screwdriver. Tom and May, if you two had a sonic screwdriver, what would you use it to do?
Use it to duplicate any candy I came across.
I'm not sure if the Sonic can do that, Tom.
It can.
May?
Would use it to turn on my computer.
Ooh, okay, from wherever you are.
Yeah, without opening it.
May, do you have your own computer?
Well, it's the school's.
Well, that's still pretty cool.
Wait, I changed my mind.
All right, what is it, Tom?
I'd use the Sonic to turn my computer into a huge robotic mech.
Oh, yeah, that sounds awesome. All right, so they distract the Autons with all the gadgets in the electronics store, and the Doctor explains to Rose what exactly the Autons are, and explains that they need to find the Nestine consciousness to deactivate the transmitter so that they'll stop attacking people. Rose wishes that instead that they brought jam tarts to life instead of robots.
I know.
I don't think I've ever had a jam tart. Tom and May, has your mom ever made a jam tart for you?
No.
Nope.
Well, she might have to try to do that, I think. She's a very keen baker, so I bet you could convince her to make something like that. All right, so the next part, Rose peers out the window and finds that someone is being attacked on the street. And the Doctor says that that's his friend Jack. So they go outside to help Jack with the help of all of the toys that are activated in the store. And the toys attack the Autons. Of course, this is Captain Jack, one of the Doctor and Rose's friends from the TV series. Tom and May, had you ever seen Captain Jack before?
Just in the story.
Yeah, he's a really fun character on the show. When you're older and you watch, maybe you'll watch more of the episodes someday. He's pretty funny. He's a time traveler as well.
We've only seen the Tim Shaw episode.
Oh, really?
I'm still a little frightened of it.
That's a scary episode for sure to start with. I would recommend watching this year's Christmas special. I think that was a really fun episode.
Yeah.
All right, so once they save Captain Jack, they realize that the Auton transmitter is on the roof of a grocery store, the Mrs. Sprout's Green Grocers, and the Doctor has an idea. It's to gather all of the cabbages. I was pretty surprised at this. Why cabbages of all things?
Yeah, couldn't it have been pizzas?
Not that big worse than cabbages.
I guess you could throw a pizza like a frisbee and knock off the Autons' heads.
No, I have an idea. Cabbages and pizza. You throw the pizza onto their heads, then knock it off with the cabbage.
There we go.
And then you get to eat the pizza. Win, win, win.
Now, could you eat the cabbage on the pizza? Would that work?
Maybe.
Yes.
Anyway, so they go up to the roof, and what do they do with all the cabbages?
They throw them the Autons' heads and they knock them off.
Yeah, very good. Then, after all, the Autons are just mannequins, so their heads pretty easily pop right off.
We call this decabbagetation.
Very good, Tom. I guess cabbages are pretty hefty. I suppose they're big enough to bonk somebody, a mannequin's head off. Anyway, one thing I did like about this scene is that we see the Ninth Doctor give his signature catchphrase, "fantastic," which I really very much appreciated. Anyway, so they are able to disable the transmitter as well as, neutralize all of the autons with the cabbage. At the end, what is Rose more worried about, though?
The storm.
Yeah,
Here we are to save the whole world, and all you're worrying about is a shot.
that's right. Very good.
Say your Sonic thingamajig and clean this all up.
It is not a magic wand.
Exactly. So as we said earlier, of course, the Sonic is very useful, but it can't magically clean up all the mess of the mannequins and I'm sure cabbage leaves strewn about the roof of this store.
Yeah.
After that, of course, the Doctor takes Rose over to the TARDIS and gets to show Rose the TARDIS. And of course, guys, what is the coolest thing about the TARDIS?
It's
bigger on
inside.
the inside.
Perfect. Very good. Yeah, and at the very end, he keeps that secret under his hat, and Rose laughs and said, if you had bought one, that is. And of course, the Doctor never ended up buying the hat that he was looking for at the start of the story. I guess, how many Doctors have had hats over the years?
Like,
One or two.
one or two, because there was the one guy with the fez.
Right, the 11th Doctor.
And then there was the 4th Doctor.
I think the 7th Doctor usually wore a hat, too.
I don't think he did.
It's certainly not all of them, though. And the 9th Doctor didn't usually wear a hat on the show. All right, well, that's the end of the story. So now let's get to some discussion questions. So both to Tom and May, what was your favorite part of the story?
When they used the cabbages to knock the head off the Autons.
Very good. Tom, how about you?
Same thing, except for the head thing. I find that kind of disturbing, but I like it when they knock the top of the Auton transmitter off with a cabbage.
Yes, very good. Who thought that the cabbage would be such a powerful weapon? Was there anything in the story that you think could have been improved or that you didn't like about the story?
I didn't really like the mannequin that was like right outside the electronics store. You'd think it would have caught them.
I guess their distraction in the electronics store didn't get everybody. May, anything to add?
And they're just walking into there. It looks like they're walking.
Yeah, on the TV show, of course, they are, there's a lot of running around. And that episode, of course, is very well known for, the Doctor grabbing Rose by her hand and saying, run for your life. And that's all very exciting. And you don't necessarily have that same tension in the book version. All right, next question. What makes the Dr. Ninth's personality different from other Doctors that you've read about in this series before?
He's always wearing those same black boots throughout the whole story.
Yes, good observation. And, that's what he wore on the show as well. May, anything that you noticed that was, maybe different about this Doctor compared to what you usually think about?
That a lot of the Doctors have hats and he doesn't.
I think this Doctor used his sonic screwdriver more in this story than some of the other stories that I've seen previously. The sonic screwdriver is one of the most iconic parts about Doctor Who, and that's really fun.
I know its only weakness.
What is the only weakness of the sonic?
It can't be used on wood.
Ooh, yes, that's right. There's some things that it doesn't really work well with.
Yeah.
All right, so what did you two think about the Autons? Have you ever seen a mannequin in a store in like a mall before? And maybe next time you see one, hopefully it won't come to life.
Yeah.
I've been lucky so far.
May, have you ever seen a mannequin in a mall before and thought it was creepy?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I think it's funny when people pose mannequins in kind of silly poses or something like that. People should be more creative with their mannequins. All right, we didn't really see Rose do too much in this story, but was there anything that you liked about Rose in this story?
I like how she asked cabbages.
Yeah, I was also surprised at that, so I guess her and I shared that surprise. Tom, what about you?
Also, she did take out the head of a mannequin.
Very good.
I also liked how she was more concerned about the shop.
Yeah, that was pretty funny at the end. All right, last one here. Why do you think the author went with an electrical shop called Mr. Sprocket instead of the electrical chain of shops in the show, Magpie's Electrics?
Well,
What? It's Mr. Socket.
I think Mr. Sprocket's just a fun word to say.
it says socket.
Is it socket or sprocket?
Socket.
Aha, okay.
S-O-C-K-A-E-T.
Very good. Yeah, I think it's just a fun name to say, so Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap it up then, and let's get to our rating and review of the story. So, for out of a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is the worst and 10 is the best, what rating would you two give this story? May, we'll start with you.
9.
All right. Why'd you give it a 9?
Because there's some parts that I don't like.
But a 9's a pretty good rating, though. But so overall, you liked it?
Yeah.
All right. Tom, what about you?
I honestly gotta give this one an 8.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good rating. And what's your reasoning?
Same as May, there's some parts I don't like the part where the mannequin's right outside the store and the decapitation part. That part's kind of queasy.
All right. Well, I also am going to give it an 8 out of 10. Unlike Tom, I liked the mannequin decapitations or decabitation, as you said, which I thought was really fun. But I was kind of a little confused at how different it was than the TV version. Yeah, I guess that's a little strange. Okay. Well, let's get to our listener feedback. And we have an email from Jen in Ohio. Hi, Jen. She expresses some disappointment that Adam Hargreaves hasn't released a Dr. 14th or Dr. 15th book yet. At the same time, she's happy that he hasn't, because then it would mean her box set of all the Doctor's adventures would be incomplete. Jen also thanks us for our efforts to read through and review all the Doctor picks, and she loves that we're reading 1 book a year. Any more than that, and she couldn't keep up, as she listens to a lot of podcasts. Thanks, Jen, for your letter.
Hooray!
Now it's time to decide which Doctor to review next in our current cycle.
Tom chose it last year.
I would love to let one of you pick. May, I don't know if you've ever gotten to pick one before, so I think it'd be fun if May got to pick.
Yeah.
May, we can pick from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 10th Doctors. So, May, do you have maybe a favorite number out of those, or anything like a preference you have for which Doctor to do?
3rd.
All right, so next we'll be reading Dr. 3rd. Thanks for your pick, May.
Yeah.
And until next time, this has been Matt in Minnesota, and
Tom and May
in
Colorado.
Colorado.
thank you very much, and happy reading.
Bye. Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast. Special thanks to George C. Music for use of their song, Doctor Who theme, swing jazz version. You can follow us on Twitter at ANDWBC Podcast and like us on Facebook. Help other listeners to find us by leaving a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. You can contact the show by emailing your thoughts to andwbcpodcast@gmail.com. And until next month, happy reading.
What do you think, Doctor? Where should we go?
Oh, I think right now is absolutely excellent. Let's park for a while.
Oh, yes, that's nice. I'm Sandra now, the companion.
Sandra.
And you're the Doctor. Sandra.
I'm the disappointing choice for the 16th Doctor.
Always popular with someone.